Hello and welcome back to another movie review. Tonight I saw We're the Millers. I actually really enjoyed this movie a lot more than I thought I was going to. I originally thought it was just going to be, like stupid stoner comedy, but I went and saw it anyway because it looked mildly amusing, and it actually turned out to be pretty funny. Not like over the top hilarious, but it actually made me laugh a couple times, so it gets credit for that. Getting into the story, basically it's what you see in the preview. The guy is a drug dealer. His neighbor, who he kind of has a crush on, is a stripper. There's this little dorky kid who lives in his building whose mother is apparently like a drunk or something because she's been gone for days. She said she was going out on a date or something and hasn't been back for like a week. So the drug dealer and the boy are sitting in the hallway near the mailboxes talking, and they notice this runaway homeless girl in an alley kind of getting mugged and harassed by these three guys. So the boy, trying to be the hero, goes over and tells them to leave her alone. They start picking on him. The drug dealer comes in to kind of save the day. The kid stupidly makes the mistake of telling them that he's a drug dealer, so then they decide that they're going to rob him instead. So he takes off running. Eventually they catch him and they take all his drugs and all the cash that he has in his apartment. Turns out he works for this other guy who's like a big drug dealer. So the guy tells him, you owe me a bunch of money. He goes, yeah, I know. He's like, I got robbed. Even like 20,000 of my own cash is gone. So I have no way of paying you. And he says, well, if you make this drug run to Mexico for me, we'll call it even, and I'll pay you. I forget how much he said he was going to pay him. So you'll actually be making money on the deal. So he says, okay, well, then he's trying to figure out how he's going to get across the border and back, and he's, again, at his house talking to the kid, and this RV pulls up and asks him for directions, and he kind of tells him to fuck off. And then there's a police officer there who tells them that they can't park in the middle of the road, and they say, we were just asking for directions, and the cop's like, oh, well, yeah, you go over here and here and here. And that's where he gets the idea that families in RVs don't really get bothered by the cops. So now he wants to put together this family. So he goes and talks to the stripper and says, I want to pay you to pretend to be my wife on this drug run. He goes and talks to the boy. He says that he'll do it. Then he goes and talks to the girl. And, he basically tells her that he'll pay her some money. I think he paid her $1,000 and he was going to give the stripper like $10,000 or something like that. The boy, he didn't offer anything. So they all agree to be on this road trip with him. So they go down, they get the drugs, they're coming back. The drug dealer the one that's in Mexico that gave them the drugs, it turns out that he was expecting someone else to come pick up drugs. And the American drug dealer had conned the main drug dealer and the Mexican drug dealer to kind of screw up the delivery. So once they find out that they've been had, they kind of go after the mock family in the RV, trying to get their drugs and their money back or whatever. As they're driving back, they meet up with another family in another RV, and they kind of they're kind of friendly to them just to keep the illusion. Then their RV ends up breaking down, so the other family says, well, we'll help you out. I know there's a mechanic, and you can bunk with us for a night until your RV's fixed. So they do that, and they find out that the other family, the father is in the DEA. Or, yeah, he's a DEA agent. So basically he busts drug dealers. The boy who's playing the son starts to fall for the DEA agent's daughter. But they end up parting ways, obviously. The Mexican drug dealers catch up with them and are going to kill them. They manage to get away once. They catch up with them again later. And that's when it's kind of revealed that, you know, they're running drugs and the DEA agent basically helps them take down the drug dealers. He's going to arrest him, but his family kind of is like, no, let him go. He goes, no, I have to arrest him. It's my job. He goes, so I'm going to turn my back and give my family a hug. And when I turn back around, I'm going to arrest you. So he's kind of like, I'm doing my job, but I'm going to let you go type of thing. They get back to where he's supposed to deliver the drugs. And it turns out that because he got there a day later, because he was dealing with the Mexican drug dealer, the guy's not going to pay him at all. So, since the main drug dealer kind of suspected that, he made a deal with the DEA agent that he'd help him take down this guy too. So when the guy says, no, I'm not going to pay you anything, then all the DEA agents burst in and arrest him. Then, basically it comes down to, you know, you're going to have to go into witness protection until you can testify. And he says, just me by myself. And the DEA agent says, well, pretty much anyone who's a witness to what happened. So basically, they move all four of them into witness protection where they just continue to be a family. They start out not really liking each other, and on the ride down to Mexico, they start to like each other. Then they have a falling out to where they don't really like each other again, and then towards the end they like each other again, especially once the drug dealer apologizes to him for being a dick, which is what caused them to fall out again. So, you know, that's why he kind of takes them into witness protection with him, and they're actually being this family. So, that's basically the end of the movie. There's a lot more that happens in it. It's a lot funnier than what I just portrayed it as. There's a lot of jokes in there. Probably the funniest part of the movie was when the boy got bit by the spider. I don't want to spoil that though, so go check out the movie to see why that actually made me laugh. I'm starting to laugh now just thinking about it. As far as the star rating goes, I'm going to give this a high 3.5. I was going to say a 4, but it's not quite to a 4. Again, this is basing it solely on comedic premise. I have seen funnier movies that made me laugh a lot more, but this one's pretty high up there. I don't laugh at much. I have a really odd sense of humor. Other people will be laughing endlessly at things that I just don't find funny at all. So it really takes a lot to actually make me laugh at something, and this actually had me laughing pretty regularly throughout it. So it almost gets a 4 for that, but at the same time, it could have been a little bit better. I mean, the story was okay, but like the pacing could have been a little bit better on it. So for that, I'm going to give it a high 3.5, but it's not far from a 4. I know I always say I don't like to do like 3.25 stars or 3 3/4 stars, but if I was going to, it would definitely be a 3 3/4 stars. But because I don't do that, I'm going to stick with a 3.5. So that's my review of We're the Millers. Definitely check it out, especially if you're into those type of comedy movies, like Superbad or things like that. You'll probably like this one. So that's it for this review. I'm not sure what I'm going to get around to seeing next. I think there's a couple more movies I wanted to see before the next set of openings this weekend, so I'm going to try to get to those. My work schedule's got me closing again, so I'm not sure what I'm going to be able to squeeze in and what I'm not. But I'll get around to something. So until then, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you at the movies.